we have a murderer in Strangetown. Yes, we will return to a very big mystery in The Sims 2. Again, how, when and why is what we will discuss in this episode. Welcome to another SimFacts. If you have played The Sims 2 and have played a lot in Strangetown, then you know there is a few strange things happening in this neighborhood. For example, if you are lucky, you can even find one very big mystery sim walking around here. But there is a family living here that got a lot of attention by sim fans, the Specter family, and to be more specific, a sim called Olive. The garden behind Olive Specter's house is filled with dead people. They range from NPCs to her many husbands. And it's said that she has been falling in love with Grim Reaper himself. In her memories, she remembering having woohoo with Grim. She might have killed Sims so that she could see him more often. She may have also killed some Sims out of anger or revenge. The ex-wife of Boss Grant, whom she dislikes, is buried in her backyard, and Earl E. Demise died shortly after leaving her at the altar. There is also much speculation that Nervous Subject is her son from a romantic encounter with Grim Reaper, and people thinks she is a murderer. This mystery has some unanswered questions. Does she really have a romantic feelings for Grim Reaper? Does she kill Sims just so she could talk to Grim? To answer these questions, we need to begin with the suspect, Olive. She is one of the pre-made playable Sims that ships with The Sims 2. She and her teenage niece Ophelia Nigmus reside in the Specter household in the neighborhood of Strangetown. As we all know, she is a many-time widow. Her many husbands, including you, Rigger, and Ichapod. The death of her many husbands make Simmers theorize that Olive is a murderer or are somehow responsible for their death. She also appeared in The Sims 3 from the store world Midnight Hollow with her son called Nervous Subject. Now, in The Sims 2, which is 50 years after Sims 3, there seems to be some kind of timeline confusing surrounding Nervous. Olive don't live with her son anymore. That's because in Strangetown storyline from The Sims 2, Nervous had already been taken away by social service the time she married Ichapod, before Ichapod's death, whereas in Midnight Hollow, Ichapod is already dead and a ghost in her garden. And what's really strange is that Earl E. Demise does not appear in Midnight Hollow, but there is a grave in Dragon Valley that reads reserved for Earl E. Demise. And what is about Easter eggs? Before I continue with Nervous Subject, in The Sims 2, Olive shares her eerie haunted house with her niece Ophelia Nigmus. Olive's sister Willow Nigmus and Willow's husband Creon are both dead and buried in Olive's garden. Olive is the daughter of Larito and Pepone Mwenda. They are both dead by fire. I don't know about you guys, but in my research I found info that is really dark. I mean, this is really dark. You should know that she also disliked General Boss Grant, whose ex-wife, as I said, died on Olive's lot soon after leaving the Grant household. Even though they dislike each other, Boss will almost always come around to her lot if he's invited. And since they don't like each other, Boss could be her next victim. You see, Olive is not the only problem here. Let's talk about something worse than death: torture, human torture. Let us start with Olive's only son, Nervous Subject. If one studies the chronology of Olive's memories, it is apparent that she gave birth to her son Nervous after she had aged to an elder. If you believe the theory that Grim Reaper is Nervous' father, that would mean that Olive got pregnant after she became an elder, which is not possible through normal gameplay. First of all, who calls their son Nervous Subject? It sounds more like an experiment than a sim. Nervous' biography tells he likes to twitches and blinks, and he do that frequently. At one point during his early childhood, Nervous was taken away from Olive by social workers because she neglected him, and was later adopted by Loki and Circle Beaker, Strangetown's mad scientists couple. In The Sims 2 for PSP, Nervous is no longer around except as a restless ghost in Bella Goth's mansion. Emily Emori, which is the third ghost in Bella's home, is really creepy by the way, because she is actually a ghost, but do not fly around, and she is not transparent. She helps you to get rid of other ghosts like Nervous Subject. She said Nervous was always short on money and signed up for a test subject for the Beakers. One day he was so miserable he was killed by one of the machines. After Nervous' death, the Beakers even kidnapped a garbage man for the tests. Nervous had a girlfriend anyhow. Well, she was unaware of his death and assumed that he had left her. Yes, this is pretty dark, isn't it? Let's return to Olive's garden. There is not only her dead husbands that are buried here. Some of them are service people like maids, delivery people, and so on. Many of them have names and are related to death. Her surname Specter is also related to death, as a specter is another term of ghosts. Olive's names might be a play on phrase I love Specter, possibly showing her love for Grim Reaper. But how did she kill if she was the only one who killed them? A few Simmers things perhaps. Before the game was even in stores, many Sims died. Others thinks they might be Olive's victims. However, murder is technically impossible in Sims game. It's possibly a storyline though. Just look at Olive's biography. She will stop at nothing to get what she wants. She spends her time collecting mushrooms, sharpening sticks, and excavating her yard. Sharpening sticks, which may suggest her use of a weapon for her victims, and as well excavating her yard, which gives clues that she spends her time digging holes to bury the bodies of her victims. Grim Reaper. I wanna talk about him because it seems that he is the father of the Specter family. The Grim Reaper is a universal NPC, meaning he is the same in all neighborhoods. Like other universal NPC, he should not be added to the family bitten by vampire or interacted with some other way outside his designated in-game purpose. Doing so can cause the game corruption. I also found in my research that in Strangetown, Grim Reaper was a female. This error was corrected in later expansion packs. But it might be some kind of a connection to Olive, but who knows? We have now gathered a lot of information, hints and clues to this big mystery. Everyone living in this Strangetown has somewhat of a connection to each other. Everyone has their secrets, but to me, they all hiding something big. Well, that's just my guess. Now let's see if Olive is guilty or not, and we put all evidence here on this wall. Let's start with Olive herself. The trait she has in The Sims 3 is unlucky and friendly. Something tells me that a serial killer is not friendly. Most Sims buried here in Olive's garden do lack of eyebrows, and in the description for the Specter family it tells you this. Who is buried in Olive's garden? Will the mysteries of aging outcast leave her fortune to her niece Ophelia, or as rumored to an unnamed heir? We know that Nervous' father seems to be the Grim Reaper, although there is no father shown in his family tree. When Olive died, her inheritance goes to Nervous instead of going to Ophelia, the expected heir. And for the other question, who is buried on Olive's lot? Her first love Earl, her three husbands Rigger, Hugh and Ichabod, her sister Willow and Creon, Willow's husband, in other words Ophelia's mom and dad, and her own mom and dad Pepone and Larato Muenda, and random townie Daniela Pizza Delivery, Jessica the maid, Lila Grant the ex-wife of General Boss Grant, Melissa a teenage girl, Luke a teenage boy, Seth a repairman, Brenda the male woman, Benjamin a bug exterminator, Knut delivery man, and Lou brother of you and died of unknown causes. Strangely, his grave is nowhere to be found and his character data is deleted. We know Olive lives with her niece at the house 13 Dead End Lane. A red chair is placed at the very back of the graveyard meant for Olive to sit in. Most of the furniture in the house is Moroccan themed because of the mysterious graveyard and the stone interior and the exterior. Many windless rooms and of course the lot name. Now we got even more info. It's time to see who is the killer, if there is any. I have actually 3 suspects, even though most of the evidence tells you that Olive is the killer. If she is the killer, I don't think she did this all alone. Olive is obviously the first suspect, Grim Reaper. And yes, Ophelia. This is my theory. You all know Olive did woohoo with Grimm, right? She loved him. What if it was opposite? Grimm loved Olive and used her to kill Sims so he could be with her. And as I said earlier, in The Sims 3 she had traits like friendly and unlucky. She loves her son Nervous and would not even kill Ophelia. Grimm might have chosen her to be the killer. Grim Reaper, which in this case is Maxis, because many Sims have died before the game was published, so Maxis had to make some believable story and blamed everything on Olive. However, don't you think it's weird that a few of Olive's victims are teenagers? That's where Ophelia gets involved. She might be very jealous at her friends. And why do Ophelia want to live with Olive if Olive killed her parents? But she worry about the future, past and the present. Why? Ophelia is however not interested in some way of a crime. She might not even know that Olive killed her mom and dad. But what we know is something is not right here. And in Strangetown is full with mysteries. Who do you think the killer is? Let me know your theory in the comment section below. And as always, my job is to make your Sim smarter.